Yeah, so I'd like to, I guess, start by saying, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I've actually been doing this more than 15 years. It's been closer to 20, which maybe explains the challenges I have with my hair these days. But no, I'd say with 20 years in the AIDC RFID industry, having come from working with some of the leading OEMs like Motorola Solutions, if you go way back in time to Zebra Technologies, and then Impinj, and then also working with some of the leading solution providers out there like DecisionPoint Technologies. I think that having been a part of those various providers over the course of time has given me a lot of different perspectives and views of the industry, and seeing some of the major wins and some of the challenges that it's experienced, and just the maturity of it as time has gone on. So I'm hoping that through those 20 years of consolidated experiences, that kind of helps give me a rounded point of view on things. Yeah, I think one of the unique things about DecisionPoint Technologies, especially now that after the recent merger between DecisionPoint Systems and Barcoding Inc., has really now enabled us to come to our customers with a very compelling message, and how we can support them through a variety of through providing them various hardware devices as well as software applications, and wrapping our services around that. So I think if you look at how we serve our customers across supply chain, regardless if they're manufacturing, distribution, in-store retail, or food or whatever, because we are very horizontal and we have some major customers across those verticals and in those different and across those different stakeholders, combining best in class solutions encompassing hardware, software, and our services has really helped our customers be the most successful, and has really allowed DecisionPoint Technologies to be as kind of agile as we are, and being able to work in those various markets. So well, first off, if one was to look at my title within DecisionPoint Technologies, it says I'm the IoT and Automation Solutions Director. And I preface it with that because IoT means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And for us, at this point in time, IoT is largely based around technologies like RAIN RFID. Certainly, we're very familiar with other technologies out there like BLE and RTLS, but really, if you look at the market maturity, and in this case, let's just say focus on retail for a moment, the market maturity using technologies like RAIN RFID has really enabled us to work with our customers and help them go after new use cases that have various ROI components well beyond your traditional inventory management. I like this question because this is very much representative of what we are doing right now with one of our biggest customers, who is one of the largest global 3PLs. And what we've actually been working with them on is putting together essentially a playbook that is based on utilizing RAIN RFID and adjacent automation technologies like camera systems, to really help them understand how the technologies, not one, but multiple, can really help address various business problems they have within their day-to-day operations. So if you're thinking in the case of a 3PL, how can these technologies be utilized to support their inbound operation, as well as their outbound operation from order fulfillment to shipping. So really, helping them understand, the value of the technology, what it can do for them, what it can't do for them, how to deploy the technology in a more standardized way, but really leveraging our organization's resources to help better position technologies that can grow at scale in a standardized way to meet their day-to-day business challenges while providing ROI at the same time. So I think this comes back to kind of DecisionPoint Technologies' go-to-market strategy. We know that as an industry, technologies like RAIN RFID are proven to work at scale. We know that they have their challenges, and like any technology, we know how to accommodate those challenges. So my point is that we partner with the best of breed hardware providers. So whether you're talking about a Zebra Technologies or an Impinj or a Keyon, we partner with best in breed OEMs. But at the same time, we work with leading ISVs to make sure that the customers we're serving, whether it be retail or food or automotive, that we're working with the best-in-class software solutions with hardware solutions. So I don't think it's necessarily having to prove that we're providing how do I say this? We know that as we partner with best of both breeds, we're going to deliver the best-in-class solutions that will ultimately, in turn, deliver the greatest inventory accuracy for our customers. As we, as a managed services organization, will facilitate the design, the execution, delivery, and support of a given solution that will ultimately, in turn, provide those results like inventory accuracy for our given customers. The industry for many years has continued to face those challenges and misunderstandings, whether it's related to data privacy and integrity, the cost of the technology versus its ROI. Does it work on metal or on water? All those things that we've all heard for so many times. And I think while we still hear some of those concerns, they're also much lesser than what they were in the past. But the way DecisionPoint Technologies is really helping our customers understand the full potential is, I think, coming to them as thought leaders, and really coming at it with a unbiased, holistic view of really what's achievable and what's not. I personally am one to say no before I'll say yes in some cases, to make sure that we're keeping our customers, being honest to our customers. But that thought leadership and making them understand what will work, what won't work, and how to achieve the greatest potential out of it is really our core strength. I'll just maybe clarify that it's not DecisionPoint Technologies RFID technology, right? We're using RAIN RFID as that mechanism as a part of the solution for our customer success. But yeah, if I was to go back in time, I think it was maybe 2 years ago now, when one of our biggest customers, large North America based sporting goods retailer, initially started to work with RAIN RFID around shoe display integrity, and looking at how having shoe display integrity translated to increased sales. And while I can't recall the exact number, because again, it's been now 2 years, the point of the matter is that customer, that retailer, saw such a significant increase in sales revenue within such a condensed period of time that they didn't go from crawl, walk, run into RFID. They basically ran into RFID. And what I mean by that is they basically started rolling out RFID solutions across their, I want to say 800 stores across North America, if that number is correct. Largely using handhelds still at that time, and at the present moment. But they saw such success in that initial program around shoe display integrity that they went all in RFID and started issuing mandates to their suppliers, largely focused on soft goods. And so now basically all items, whether it's apparel or shoes and other wearable items, are now RFID tagged, and they're going to continue to phase in RFID to the other products that they sell and distribute to their customers. Well, I think regardless if it's food, regardless if it's retail, or any of our customers for that matter, certainly, we recognize that there's a lot of drivers in the marketplace, specifically within certain vertical segments, that are driving adoption. So if we take in the example here, food, food naturally ties into FSMA 204, and really it's helping our customers understand that, yeah, this is a mandate. Well, let's just use that, that four-letter word, if we can call it that. This is a mandate, but this is also something that can have extreme benefits for you internally within your day-to-day operations. So while at a first pass, it may sound like, compliance of sorts is really more of a nuisance than anything. Helping them really understand the internal value that the technology is going to provide them operationally, whether it's for labor, for inventory accuracy, claims, etc. But I think it's kind of a neutral point, which is, that's kind of how we message to our customers the value of these solutions as a whole, regardless if it's tied to food and FSMA or something else. Yeah, and again, I think there's a theme here too, which is kind of around DecisionPoint Technologies' go-to-market strategy, which we believe is going to best serve our customers because we're not bound to one hardware provider, we're not bound to one software provider, and we recognize that it's going to be, you have to work with best in class in different areas depending on the market segments you serve. So back in the case of food, we have some very strong partnerships with some leading ISVs that have purpose-built software platforms to enable food traceability and transparency that then can directly tie into the consumer. So again, maybe a little bit of a repeat message, but that's kind of how we're working with customers today to ensure that they're getting what they expect out of technology that enables food traceability. Yeah, I think it's, again, I'll use the example before around thought leadership, and making sure that these organizations really understand what's going on in the marketplace. And it doesn't have to be food, but in this case it is. So understanding, what are the drivers here, around FSMA 204? Why do I as a manufacturer, or why do I as a distributor, or even a QSR retailer have to invest in technologies to be compliant? And then ultimately, again, what does that investment do for me, or do for they internally for operational improvements and such? So I think, we as an organization, staying on the forefront of what's going on, in industry, kind of knowing the mega trends, the drivers, the industry challenges, and translating that back to our customers, help them understand how that really is going to impact them and benefit them and their customers, is really where our value is. Again, I think there's a theme here too, which is kind of around DecisionPoint Technologies' go-to-market strategy, which we believe is going to best serve our customers because we're not bound to one hardware provider, we're not bound to one software provider, and we recognize that it's going to be, you have to work with best in class in different areas depending on the market segments you serve. So back in the case of food, we have some very strong partnerships with some leading ISVs that have purpose-built software platforms to enable food traceability and transparency that then can directly tie into the consumer. So again, maybe a little bit of a repeat message, but that's kind of how we're working with customers today to ensure that they're getting what they expect out of technology that enables food traceability. Yeah, I think it's, again, I'll use the example before around thought leadership, and making sure that these organizations really understand what's going on in the marketplace. And it doesn't have to be food, but in this case it is. So understanding, what are the drivers here, around FSMA 204? Why do I as a manufacturer, or why do I as a distributor, or even a QSR retailer have to invest in technologies to be compliant? And then ultimately, again, what does that investment do for me, or do for they internally for operational improvements and such? So I think, we as an organization, staying on the forefront of what's going on, in industry, kind of knowing the mega trends, the drivers, the industry challenges, and translating that back to our customers, help them understand how that really is going to impact them and benefit them and their customers, is really where our value is. Where DecisionPoint Technologies sits today is helping our customers have the most accurate data that they can ingest into their AI initiatives, whether it's an existing system or initiatives that they have coming very soon. So, I think we're all familiar with the term, bad data in, bad data out. So similarly to that, we're looking at how we can provide the most accurate solutions, whether it's using barcode or more so today RFID, and enabling them to have the most accurate data through those systems that we've deployed and engineered around specific business cases. So at the present moment, we're more so focused on the forefront of data collection to kind of enable those AI driven systems thereafter. So I like to, leverage the learnings I've had from our collective resources in our network, and I like to paraphrase and use quotes. And I think Mike Grain is the one that came up with the term sensor fusion. Now, whether he did or he didn't, I heard it from him first, so that's why I'm gonna say I give Mike Grain the credit for sensor fusion. But I think that's really where we're seeing AI and IoT kind of coming together, because again, we're more on the forefront of the data collection side. So, we're, as you heard me say many times at this point, we're largely invested in RFID-based solutions using RAIN RFID, but we're very much, getting more and more focused in the automation space, and automation, using camera systems. And if you want to break it down and be more granular, whether it be fixed industrial scanning use cases versus machine vision, but looking at how those technologies kind of come together as one to really enable organizations that be able to collect data in a very much more accurate way, regardless of what that technology is, and feed those AI systems. Now, so robotics is an area that DecisionPoint Technologies has been investing to little by little over the last few years, and we're continuing to make those investments with our collective partners. At one point, we were manufacturing an AGV, an automated guided vehicle. And ultimately we saw some of the challenges it was having in the marketplace, where AMRs are certainly gaining more share, if you want to call it that. So for me personally, as we see robotics continuing to become more widely adopted, and as we continue to expand in our solution offerings, we are actively working with some of the leading robotics manufacturers now that are primarily focused on in-store retail, largely around the grocery space, and looking at how then using robotics and vision systems can ensure inventory accuracy and other issues that can disrupt store operations, like spillage and display compliance and such. So that's an area that we're seeing gaining traction, and that's an area that we're investing into to help serve our customers move forward. Where we are helping retailers is really, through the whole consumer experience. We're helping retailers deliver a better consumer experience throughout their whole store operation. So consumer experience historically has translated into, inventory accuracy through on-shelf availability, and being able to find inventory when you needed it, whether it was a store associate or an individual looking for it. So certainly that is still, I would say, baseline number one is to deliver a good experience by having inventory accuracy and availability. Now that said, as we kind of talked about earlier, look at the market maturity and look at where things are going. Certainly as maturity increases, the newer business use cases kind of come in naturally to help support that consumer experience and better serve the customer. So when we're talking about intelligent fitting rooms to make the interactive experience, to make that experience more interactive for a customer in the fitting room, those are solutions that we're investing in presently. And then also solutions that we have recently brought to market through one of our strategic partnerships that of, Matt, at the beginning of the year, is really around OmniPay and being able to enable a better experience to the customer at point of sale, whether it's using your traditional self-checkout, RFID self-checkout, or even doing RFID-based mobile pay through a mobile device. So I think if you really look at how these use cases have grown and evolved, it all translates into the consumer experience, which are all things that we're addressing with our customers today. So I'll come back to the example I mentioned earlier, as we're actively working with one of our largest customers, a global 3PL, and helping them put together these RFID playbooks, as we're calling it, which is essentially their go-to-market strategy in deploying solutions to their customers, as they are a 3PL. Naturally, excuse me, security, infrastructure, readiness, and ROI are all factors that we very much have baked in to the playbook. And as we've kind of presented it to them, we've looked at like the grandiose view of everything that they can do within say a distribution center with RFID and automation. But we know that people just don't invest in technology for the fun of it. There has to be a proven ROI, of course. So helping them really understand where the most achievable ROI is in that operation, and kind of building out a strategy around that from a solution design, execution, and support perspective. And then naturally, the security and infrastructure becomes a part of the overall solution design, because that's just naturally what it is when you're working with these enterprise customers. But yeah, I think if it comes back to best practices, it's leveraging resources like what we have within our organization to help serve our customers, because we have people that are very specialized in data security, in network security, and then others like myself that are more focused in the solution design and how that translates to ROI. So it's really, I think, resource utilization and kind of being able to support customers in all aspects there. So in terms of deploying solutions, we know that compliance is data integrity and compliance is a factor, especially when we're talking things like mandates, if we want to call it that. And I know that we can look at data integrity and compliance in a couple different ways. So I'm not necessarily looking at it from a network security or privacy perspective. I'm looking at it from a mandates perspective, which is saying, hey, as a part of my RFID initiative, my suppliers need to provide me RFID tag goods in a specific way as I expect to receive them. So making sure that they are encoded per the GS1 spec, making sure that they're serialized accordingly, making sure that they meet what I'm expecting for making sure they're compliant for me to best utilize the technology. So for me, that's how I'm talking to our customers, which is making sure that the as they tag their products and utilize them within their supply chain, that they are encoded and utilized as expected throughout their supply chain. So I think, again, this comes back to evolution, business use case evolution based on maturity and technology improvements, and just the evolution of the industry as a whole. So what I mean by that is, there's clearly been an adoption of RFID today within in-store retail for handhelds, of course, and we're starting to see a pivot, or the next iteration, where some of those leading retailers are now moving to more autonomous solutions based on overhead infrastructure to provide real-time inventory visibility without having to rely on a person to do scans or cycle counts on some cadence. So I think one of the first trends that is going to really enable high-performing retailers in the next coming years is making that transition from handhelds to now handhelds with autonomous overhead infrastructure, whether that's across the store or across transition points. But it's going to be some blend of handhelds with overhead or full-blown overhead. I think that's number one. Number two, because we're seeing across industry. This is echoed, very clearly at NRF. The challenges with shrink in the last recent 2 or 3 years. I think that those that are mature with their current RFID initiative are naturally going to start to expand into those other areas now around loss detection to ensure that they're having the greatest on-hand inventory accuracy. And then I think the third one then becomes more the consumer experience, right? And consumer experience, as I mentioned earlier, can come in different ways, whether that's through interactive intelligent fitting rooms or through OmniPay and things like self-checkout, which is certainly getting the attention of some of the younger generation shoppers. So I think that is really going to be kind of what's going to define some of the leaders, is their willingness to take on adoption of technologies that are going to address these other business use cases in addition to their traditional on-hand inventory management. So I think for DecisionPoint Technologies to continue to be a leader, to help our customers stay leaders in their marketplace, it's really on us to be again on the forefront of what's going on in the market. What are clearly these business challenges that the market is seeing? What are the solutions out there, whether it's a hardware provider, software provider, or some other provider of sorts that has a solution or a component of a solution that we can provide to our customers. Because again, I believe our value is, certainly our people and our services is number one, because we are a services-led organization, but being agnostic to the hardware and the software and really knowing the business challenges at hand and knowing the solutions available to address those business challenges is really, I think, is what's going to keep us kind of on the forefront, as is our customers.